All right. Now I haven't done this in a very long time, which is just go live all by myself, and I'm just attempting something here, just a little bit different, just to see how it goes. A little bit, what do you call it? Trial by experiment, just to see how it goes. And it's late at night. Um, has a little bit of inspiration. I'm not sure about the title of this video because when I put it together, I was watching hockey tonight, which I don't usually watch hockey. I only watch hockey usually in the playoffs, and usually only when the Maple Leafs uh, are playing. The Toronto Maple Leafs are playing, and they won the first game of the second series. No, sorry, the first game of the second round, right, of this series against the Florida Panthers. And it was a really exciting game. So that's probably why the name of the title is the Speed, Power, and Skill Still Rules. And it kind of reminded me of the Kentucky Derby and how watching the Kentucky Derby, um, there was so much power. I mean, horse racing, there's the power, the speed, the skill of the jockey. Um, it's just raw power. You see all those horses just lined up um, in the gates, and they're all champions. Everyone can win at any given time because the horses from the Kentucky Derby, they're all champions. It's just, you can only have one champion on that day. And that being said, this year I sat on my couch and I watched the Kentucky Derby, and it was beautiful to watch. It was rainy, it was muddy, the slop, the rain, the mud flying into the jockeys' faces, and you know, we all want to see a fast track, and we want to see people out, you know, showcasing their outfits, and well, at least that's what I watch it for on a big day like the Kentucky Derby. Those are the times when I watch everything that's going on behind the scenes. The people with the flowers, people drinking, people singing, people having a good time. I mean, this is the whole event. It's not just one race going almost 2 minutes, you know, and that's it. You turn off your TV and you say it's over. The Kentucky Derby is the event, and if you go to any track and they have their big day, and you don't just go for one race and you watch the race, you turn around, you go back home. You want to take in all the activities. You want to take in everything else at the track, everything the track has to offer. Some food, some drinks, mingle, shoot the, you know what I mean? And you go from there. But the Kentucky Derby, it was really beautiful to watch. Sovereignty won. That was a nice horse. I thought it was one of the horses to beat, but there was a horse in there too that I picked amongst some people that I knew, and I really liked the horse. This year, I actually didn't study the horses that well. I just kind of looked at them briefly, and I decided that there was one horse that was really I was rooting for, but he had speed and started off really well, and then faded off somewhere in the mid pack or the back. We'll watch him for next time. I believe that horse is going to do pretty okay next time. That was East Avenue, and I think it was a Godolphin horse. If you watch racing over the weekend, you see that Godolphin they did some really big things across the racing world. I think they won like 4 big races put together, and that's quite amazing because just to win some big races like that, you got to either have a plan or some really good luck. But Sovereignty did his thing. He was prime. He was ready. He looked much the best coming down the track. He did his thing and did really well. Junior Alvarado, always a good rider, always there. You always got to watch out for them. But I mean, think about it, really, you got like all the other jockeys are good riders too. So that's the main event. You know what I mean? If you like sport, you like competition, you like horse racing, you know that's the time where it's time to shine. So just like the World Series or uh, World Cup soccer, um, any big event. This is the event for horse racing. I mean, across the world, really, at least on this part of the world. Uh, you got a Breeders' Cup, and you got many other events that racetracks put on. But for me, the Kentucky Derby is the one that catches my attention. So, it was a nice race. I would say for me personally, watch out for East Avenue some other time. Um, the horse definitely shows that he has some speed. How they harness that speed and how they, if the horse is fit. I don't know all those things from behind the scenes. If the horse came out well, if the horse wasn't feeling well, whatever. I knew the race before the Kentucky Derby. He had speed too. He made it out to the front, but then eventually he got passed as well. So if you're looking at a long distance, maybe it's something to be concerned about. But if the horse got speed, sometimes you just need a little bit of luck, a fast trap maybe, and we'll see where it goes from there. You just never know. Once the horse get to the front, anything can happen. So that being said, Woodbine started back, and I noticed that there's a lot of short fields. If you're watching and you're watching Woodbine, you probably notice the same thing too. So a lot of short fields, not too, my honest opinion, not too entertaining because in the beginning, they're short fields. Who's fit, who's coming from Florida or from fairgrounds or somewhere like that, somewhere some other track running throughout the winter. You know that they're coming in a little bit fitter than the others. Now there are some exceptional horses like Patches O'Houlihan, who's a really exceptional horse, and I don't know how they're gonna even try to beat this horse this year because it seems like this horse just seems to keep getting better and better. And Bob Tiller seems to have this horse prime and ready every time. So we'll see how this horse go for 2025. Also, Sophia really needs to do really is sit on the horse and let the horse just drag her around the track, and she can win them all if if it goes like that. Unless they get really clever and they team up on that horse and wear it down, or if Bob decides he wants to try something different with the horse and just to prove that Patches O'Houlihan can go a different distance, go a little bit longer or something. We don't know. I have to talk to 10 about that. If 10 still is working that horse out and see where he thinks. But that horse is definitely a lot of speed, power, and the jockey with some skill, and that's a good horse for you and for me. Um, so same old suspects. I got to give it another week or so, a week or two at Woodbine to see which jockeys are coming out on top. But so far, I'm seeing the regular suspects. You all know who they are. If you watch racing, you'll know exactly. You'll see who the jockeys that tend to lead the pack, who they are. So you'll see. But yeah, same suspects. I just watching here and there. I've been pretty busy lately, so I haven't had a chance really to get to Woodbine to do any work really. But I'll be there soon and get behind the scenes and bring some stories to this platform. You'll see as time go on that a lot more stories will be coming on this platform. Um, not only horse racing, but many other stories. I'm pretty sure you'll enjoy them. So watch out for that. Um, so I want to talk a little bit about the platform and where the platform is going and what you think about. Maybe you guys can suggest um, some things. Lend your thoughts, share your ideas with me as well, and let me see if I can produce something for you. So, a few months ago, I tried streaming, and that worked out for a little while, just to get races to some people who were not able to get races where they were in that part of the world. Um, it worked out for a while and until I started getting a bunch of questioning from different sources about where my streaming was coming from. A lot of times I don't really answer because I don't feel I'm obligated to answer any of those questions. But I knew it was going to stop. And the reason why I'm not even pursuing that anymore is because many of the racetracks are also streaming their races through YouTube. So in the beginning, there were just one or two, there were a few, very little tracks were streaming their races through YouTube. But now you can watch many of the races from various tracks on YouTube. So it doesn't really make sense for me to even try to stream those races to you, with my platform, because you can get a better feed from directly from the racetracks, and that makes more sense. So you can go and check them out. You just gotta punch in the tracks names, and more times you'll probably find that track. I'm not saying every track will have a stream on YouTube, but you can probably find them very easily if they're streaming. I did speak to, well, I spoke with one of the streaming platforms in the U.S. I didn't get a definite answer, so we, I guess, agreed to not communicate or something, because we talked. They called me while I was in Barbados, and we had a conversation, but they were going to get back to me. They never got back to me. So I decided, you know what, this doesn't make sense. Let's just end it like that. I'll continue to bring my behind the scenes videos and stories to you, and I move on from there. So watch out for that. And there'll be a lot more stories from behind the scenes. A lot of interesting people here in Toronto. A lot of interesting stories out there. So watch out. I'm not kidding you. I think you'll enjoy these stories. So stick with the platform and see what is happening. Um, so I want to big up Patrick Husbands, because when you get to our ages and you're still winning races, people in our era, we tend to support each other. We say you're still doing your thing, and keep up the good work, because at that age right now, I'm the same age as him. Um, it gets pretty hard to get up in the morning and to do that work that you were doing when you were 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 years old, and I'm not kidding you. So it's not an easy task. So to do it and then to get up in the afternoon and do it all over again and win races and compete with them young boys, that's a hard thing to do. So hats off to him, and continue success. And whoever else out there, I know last year when I went to Ohio, I met TD Houghton um, down at Thistledown, and he's got some age on him too. And just to see him like a bright young boy getting out there and doing his thing, and I saw him over the weekend at Thistledown again riding races. and still doing his thing. So hats off to those guys, man, that are continue to do some work that the young boys are expected to do. So that's the one thing I want to say too, because if these guys are a little bit older than the young crop of jockeys, people should pay attention, because they're not going out there just to sit out there. They probably got a goal, and they got missions, because they want to prove that they can do their thing too as well. So hats off to those guys, man. Continue success and continue to do your thing. What else want to say here? I had a list here of things that I wanted to say, and well, yeah. So I was looking through the internet, and I looked through. I managed to stumble across some comments and some posts at Woodbine Racetrack, and I had I guess it was kind of emotional a bit because I saw the post I think yesterday or something, and then today I looked and I saw a post again. I saw about 40 some comments on the post, and it was about I think a young girl at Woodbine backstretch who had, according to the post, I don't know who this person is. I've never met this person, or maybe I have, but I don't know who she is. But apparently she took her own life, and that is pretty sad. And I want to say rest in peace to her, and condolences to her family, relatives, anyone who knew her, friends, whatever, people that might have known this young person. One of the reasons why I commented on this story right now is because, over the last several years, there's been quite a few. Well, I won't say quite a few. About three, four of my friends who, well, one person, she had, well, let's put it this way. About 2, 3 people I knew, their children ended their own lives. And I don't know what is going on these days with younger people and going in that direction. And maybe someone out there can comment or have something to say about it, and why stuff like this is happening or continues, or is happening more than ever. I don't know. I don't have an answer, but I wish I knew. But I don't want to see it become a trend where people in their own lives over probably something being said. Some people talk about being bullied, stuff like that. I don't know, because unless people leave a note or something, apparently a lot of people who in their own lives, they leave notes so that other people can understand what was going through their minds. Bottom line is, I would not like to see that continue, and rest in peace to the young person who recently ended her own life. I don't even know if I'm supposed to be saying stuff like that, because I don't know the rules behind people ending their lives and commenting on it. I don't know, but to me, it's not a good situation. Yeah, so I think that's all I have to say on that, and I'll let it end there. What else I want to talk about? I want to talk about right. So it was the Maple Leafs tonight, and they won their first game out of the second round and so forth. And that brought me to this post tonight to talk a little bit about the Kentucky Derby and the power, the strength, and the skill of the sport. And I was watching hockey, and I don't usually watch hockey. And I was telling one of my friends earlier today and last week that when it comes to hockey, I only watch hockey in the playoffs, and usually it looks like if the team that gets the most shots in will win, because you see this just guys speeding going up and down the ice and hitting the puck. But I was watching very carefully, and and there's a lot of skill in there, um, a lot of skill, and just for the goalie, to see the puck and puts out the glove and catches the puck. I mean, I can barely see it watching it from off the TV, but these guys got really good eyes, or the reflexes are so sharp and stuff like that. And I wanted to compare it with horse racing again, and jockeys being having the mindset to know when to go through those small spaces, knowing when to pull the trigger, when to go down against the rail or go wide, go through the space between horses and stuff like that. So I want to do a little bit of comparison and saying, look, in any sport out there, um, these guys that compete, they gotta have the winning attitude. They gotta know when and where, and every sport has exceptional people, and that's the reason why they get paid the big bucks, or they should be getting paid the big bucks, because the audience come out to see them, people come out and support, and realistically, they be doing it so long, they become so skilled, and definitely that's why they're the pros. Speaking of pro, I want to say big up my friend um, Rocco Boyne. So you just won a race on Saturday. I know you had a tough winter. We talked about that, but now it's spring. We're moving into the summer. I'm pretty sure you'll be really excited to move past the winter and get going on a winning spree down in Ohio. So good luck this season. Good luck this spring, this summer, and I'm pretty sure we'll be seeing you back in the winning circle more often. Um, what else? I think I commented on most things already. Mostly I wanted to talk really, it was the Kentucky Derby, Junior Alvarado, um, and everyone else that took part in the Derby. But Junior Alvarado, as a winning jockey, he did his thing. And it was nice to see how all the jockeys, have the mud all over their faces, and the horses. It's quite spectacular to watch. It makes for a good story for any writer out there who's curious or creative enough to mention stuff like that. Um, like we talked about earlier, or I talked about earlier, the streaming that I was doing with the horse racing, that has stopped. And I want to just shout out Woodbine. And they have a spectacular stream coming from Woodbine. So check out Woodbine. Just punch in Woodbine on YouTube and you'll see their streaming platform. Is really good. It's really sharp. It's one of the best that I've seen so far watching racing. Um, if you don't have a platform that you can go to where you can, like a betting platform, you can see most of the races on YouTube. I think America Races Today, they have a good platform because the commentary and everything else is on point. They usually have a lot of information so that if you're watching racing, it keeps you filled. Uh, Sometimes what buying racing is clear, it's crisp, but I think where they lack is dead ear. But you know, for most people who watching racing, you don't need all the talking all the time. Perhaps on a big day, maybe that would help, but for the most part, um, regular days, you don't people don't need all the conversation and everything else. You just need to know about the horses um, and the races that is given at that given point. All right. Um, yeah, and there's some tracks that are on YouTube too, but they're not that great. But I Woodbine for sure. Definitely shout out Woodbine. They're really good. They really have a really good platform. Um, what else can I say? I think I'll do this a little bit more often because um, I feel like I got a lot of things to talk about. Um, and I think maybe I'll invite a guest next time, someone who's up at this time because what time is it right now? Probably after 10 or something. But I have to check it out and see. Okay. Is there anything else I want to talk about? No. No. I think that's it. Yeah, I'll be back on the road shortly. I got a few videos to post. Um, there's a few places I gotta go to and bring that story to you. I'm working on that. When that's finalized, you'll be seeing those videos soon. And if there's anything else that you guys would like to see or someone would like to see, please hit me up, send me a message, or even comment on the video and let me know, and I'll work on it. Other than that, there's lots of nice things coming, and hopefully I'll see you on the track or see you on the road. Or if you have a nice story you want to bring to me, hit me up, and I'll meet you somewhere, and we can go from there. All right. All right. So next time, we'll talk next time. I'm getting out of here. Got to get up early in the morning and get going. You know how it goes. No time